I've never done a part 2 before on my channel. Up until this point, I've been able to fit pretty much everything I want to say about any given game into a fairly manageable time allotment. Sure, much longer games, or games that just demanded a ton of jokes, might have occasionally stretched my typical 7 to 8 minute range, but nothing I couldn't deal with. And then I played last week's game, Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion HD Renovation. Not only is the game much longer than the games I typically cover, but its content is spread across 4 completely different campaigns, each worth their own whole video. So I decided to split my coverage into 2 parts, a big finale to send off the 2020 Spooktober Marathon. For the sake of time, I'm going to make this video under the assumption that you've already seen part 1. If you haven't, I highly recommend you go check it out, either in the card on screen or in the description below. Today, we're going to be covering the game's 2 story-driven DLC packs, Karamari Hospital and Spooky's Dollhouse. There's even more for me to cover in this episode, so I think we better get straight into it. The Karamari Hospital DLC starts you back off in room 995 of the mansion, but when you try to move down to the final level, the elevator enters a free fall, taking you way down further into the depths than you ever thought was possible. From here, after a brief encounter with Spooky, you'll enter the titular Karamari Hospital. Both of these campaigns function very differently from the regular mansion mode or endless mode. Ditching the walking sim style with the goal of progressing through rooms in one direction, you can now expect to move about freely on a large map, solving puzzles and finding keys to unlock areas to explore. Imagine if a single specimen room was built into an entire game and you have the premise on display here. Your goal is simply to unlock the exit, but as it turns out, that's going to take a whole lot of doing. On the surface, the hospital seems to be as safe and inviting as a hospital could possibly be. You start out in the lobby where you can return at any time to save and quickly realize after exploring the bathrooms and discovering a locked door, your only way forward is to the left. As you begin to explore patient rooms, you stumble upon some disturbing notes that tell the story of the hospital staff slowly falling prey to some sort of mysterious force that inhabits the house. Once again, this game manages to set up an excellent atmosphere. Hospitals are such a great setting for a horror game, and the one found here is no exception. The tone shifts quickly though when you make your way down to the basement and disable the generator, shutting off the lights and breaking the seal of an electronic lock. There are several new specimens introduced in the first DLC. Well, they'll be new to you if you haven't already played the Endless mode. Pretty much all of the monsters from Karamari Hospital appear there, which is kind of unfortunate as it takes away some of the fun out of encountering them in the DLC. It is really cool though to finally see their encounter rooms placed back into their original context, and the lineup of bad guys is really solid. It shouldn't take you more than an hour to make it through your first full playthrough, but there's still a little bit more you'll need to do if you want to collect every achievement. Once you've beaten the campaign once, a New Game Plus mode will be unlocked. The second run plays out nearly identically to the first, with one notable exception. You have a sword. This time, instead of running from enemies like you've been expected to do for so long, you finally take them head on, disappearing them into a cloud of blue mist and presumably freeing their souls from the mansion. If you manage to take out every specimen you encounter, you'll be rewarded with the She Fears You achievement, and be free to move on, presuming you've picked up all the other miscellaneous achievements along the way. Most of them relate to this GBA-style minigame you'll find in the basement, because all good horror games come with a built-in dating sim. You'll need to play it through a couple of times to unlock a secret ending, and then lure a specimen in there with you to kill you while you play. Once you finally escape the hospital for good, you'll begin to make your way down the typical mansion corridors before, a few rooms in, the screen fades to black. That is until a whopping 4 years later, when less than a month ago, the final DLC pack for Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion was released. Spooky's Dollhouse picks back up right where we left off, sending you down yet more hallways until you finally reach the deepest location in the facility. The air smells of must and mold, your breathing is so inhibited at this point that your health no longer regens on its own. I know I've talked about the amazing atmosphere of every campaign so far, but the Dollhouse really knocks it out of the park. The whole place looks like you're inside a dollhouse, and for the first time, the theming goes less for being overtly scary and more into the uncanny valley of unsettling. What better way to further accomplish this than to have you carry around a porcelain doll that occasionally changes its expressions between rooms throughout the game. This campaign definitely introduces the largest amount of new mechanics of any other mode. Holding the doll means you'll be without your axe for the first time. There are key cards to collect, pedestals to place the doll on to unlock doors, various different tools like a pair of hedge trimmers. The scope of this game has been expanded significantly. The latest cast of enemies falls right in with the tone set by the rest of the design, going for twisted and unsettling over typically scary designs, meaning they stick in your head for much longer even after you've shut off the game. This DLC is much more story-driven than any that came before it, finally pulling off the final veil of ignorance and telling the tale of GL Labs using dolls to bind spirits from the afterlife to Earth in an attempt to bring them back. To get the good ending, you'll need to explore every area of the dollhouse: the Northside Studies, the West Wing, the Great Hall, GL Labs, and the Root Cellar to collect 5 black candles. These candles will be used to conduct a ritual and open a gate directly to the source of all the evil in the mansion. Only through luring the specimens back through the portal and ultimately closing it behind them can you free the souls trapped in this place and escape with your own life. I won't spoil the ending for you, but I will say it wraps up the 5-year saga of Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion very nicely. The only real problem I would describe with the dollhouse is that it doesn't include any achievements, yet we actually collected our platinum trophy / steam ribbon back at the end of Karamari Hospital, which takes just a bit of the punch out of the otherwise excellent finale. I had an amazing time with both DLC packs. They were much less demanding than the first 2 modes, and it was honestly really nice to be able to kick back and let the story play out. So did playing them in any way change the way I view the game as a whole? Absolutely not. Given that both DLC packs are optional anyway, they only really have the opportunity to enhance the already great first half, and that's exactly what they do. Not to mention the fact that if you already own the HD renovation, all of this content is included for the low price of $10. Although, if you're watching this video on the day it releases, you can actually pick it up as part of the Steam Halloween sale for only $6.50. Believe it or not, both of the expansions were also released for the original free version on PC as well, although it'll run you about $6 if you want both of them. So if you're already breaking out the credit card, you might as well pick up the HD renovation, unless your PC just can't run it. And if you enjoyed Karamari Hospital back in the day, it's absolutely worth booting the game back up and giving the dollhouse a playthrough. It's not too late, it's still spooky season, go play Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion. There's a reason I put 40 hours into it. And with that, we can officially conclude the Spooktober Marathon. It's been a lot of fun, but it's also been a lot of work, so I'm definitely excited to be able to get back to my normal routine. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I put in an absolute ton of time into finishing these games, and these were not easy videos to make, so if you'd like to show some support by liking, leaving a comment down below, or subscribing if you haven't already, I would really appreciate it. If you'd like to check out any of my socials, they'll be linked down below, as always. I'm also going to be linking my second channel where I post my Shiny reactions if you'd like to pop over there, as well as all of the music used in this video. With that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.